Seems like all we can talk about recently, the heat and the humidity. It's almost insufferable. And as we see more days in the 90s headed our way, we're well on our way to being in a heat wave. Here's meteorologist Craig Moeller to explain.
It's a hot one out there. We've got more heat in the forecast for tomorrow, but we're not alone. You take a look out across the south central U.S. There are excessive heat warnings posted from Texas to Oklahoma. You can see Arkansas, Louisiana. This area just baking, and there's heat advisories just off to the north and east of that. For the northeast U.S., there's a heat advisory that'll be in place tomorrow. Look at these forecast heat index values. New York around 98, maybe 100 degrees there. 107 around Dover, and 105 to 108 for Norfolk. Now you might be wondering, why do they have a heat advisory already posted while we don't? Take a look at the thresholds for this. For Norfolk, it's 105 degrees, but it has to be that hot for 3 hours in a row. And we're going to take a look at that. You know, we're getting later into summer. We've had these hot days before. We could see an advisory go into place. Up around Dover, they're going to get there. And up in New York, it only takes 100 to trigger that heat advisory. For the northeast U.S., 95 degrees, and then down to the south, along the deep south and the Gulf Coast, where it's always seemingly hot and humid, they're a lot more tolerant. So their threshold's actually 108 and 110 across parts of South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Texas, also South Texas. So depends on where you are. One thing's for sure, we're in for more heat. And of course, Frances will have a lot more coming up in her forecast.
All right, thanks, Greg. We were just talking about the heat. It is just awful here. I mean, and it's going to stick around, right?
Yes. I mean, we're not going to see relief really anytime soon. So just be grateful for the rain showers when they pop up.
Yeah.
That's going to be the saving grace, quite literally, within this heat.
Okay.
So we are dealing with this heat for two reasons. One is because of this main reason. We have this high pressure system off our shore, and it is very stubborn and pretty well established near Bermuda. We call that your Bermuda high pressure system, funneling in your winds to move in from the south, even southeast at times, but mainly seeing that southerly component. So bringing in warm air as well as that humidity. Now, as far as our heat wave that we're dealing with, we're in our third day. Actually, today will be your fourth forecasted day of seeing temperatures in the 90s. So your jet stream has moved northward and it remains locked there. So we've actually had a ridge of high pressure build within the central United States, and that hot air travels eastward, and that's what we're dealing with really for today as well as tomorrow. Just showing you the temperatures where you see that strong ridge of high pressure. 94 right now in Dallas, 92 in Wichita, we have 88 in San Antonio. Right now we're sitting at 89 here in the Norfolk area. And actually, let's look at these heat advisories. We're seeing heat advisories really from Texas to Oklahoma, extending towards really as far as Kentucky and parts of West Virginia. Now, we're not under a heat advisory for today because, as Craig mentioned just a few moments ago, we need to have 3 hours of your heat index values at 105 for here at home. We'll likely see that heat index or that heat advisory issued probably tomorrow because you're looking at your heat indices well into those triple digits for tomorrow afternoon. So here you have in white, those are going to be your heat index values for the next couple of days. We get back to what it feels like those triple digits over the weekend as we have that ridge of high pressure system rebuild within the region.